It's so depressingly easy just to like fucking rot and do nothing. Like this is definitely the easiest generation or time period to just do nothing really meaningful in your life. And obviously what's meaningful is like super subjective, and if you find meaning in, your job, whatever your job is, no one can tell you, fuck that, that's not meaningful, because it's your life, live it however you want. But it's so easy to just, do nothing, watch a TV show. I mean, you're not getting anything out of binge watching another Netflix series that's like 11 seasons. You're not getting anything like meaningful out of scrolling on Instagram for 2 hours. And I'm guilty, you know, several, if I were to like turn on my screen time, I'd probably spend several hours on Instagram a day, maybe not a day, but I'm guilty of falling down those rabbit holes and just spending hours on social media. And I'm not like trying to say like fuck social media, because I love social media. I love having access to the internet whenever I want. I love being able to Google random questions at like 5 a.m. But am I getting anything out of that? No. I'm not learning anything crazy by watching YouTube all day. And I don't watch YouTube all day. I try not to. I try to be aware of like how I'm wasting my time, how I'm spending my time. And I'm not like saying that like people should feel guilty for frauding, for, distractions, because that's just kind of where we're living right now. I'm not gonna act like I don't spend time doing useless, just stupid stuff, but I do feel guilty about it. You know, like I wish sometimes that I had more discipline and didn't do useless shit, because I'm not getting anything out of scrolling on my phone. And it's so easy. Like I mean, obviously I'd have to make money, but I could get some, part-time job and just spend my life, in someone's basement playing video games, or, spend 9 hours a day watching YouTube and still, live. I would still be living. I would still, maybe I'd be happy. But I don't really think there's a lot of meaning to be found in just kind of always being a consumer of things and not contributing anything to the world. And obviously, again, that's so objective. Like, I'm not saying to live a quote unquote meaningful life, you have to, you know, start something, create something, like put something out there. But even just in relationships, just feeling like you're doing something meaningful and not, it's so easy to isolate. Like today, like obviously, any time period you could like isolate, like read books, or, TV's been around for a hot minute. Okay, it's like nothing completely new. Those are definitely the easiest generation to just spend so much time doing something, that, like video games, for example. Like I'm guilty. I like video games. I love Skyrim. Skyrim was such a good game. It is still a good game. But I remember I would spend like hours. I mean, yeah, I was like 12, 13. But just so many days I spent like in my room, like the curtains drawn on like my Xbox, building like a Skyrim character. And like I guess, people spend time doing meaningless stuff. I think even if you were to get like the most accomplished person in the world, they probably spend like hours, weeks of their time doing stuff that wasn't creating anything, wasn't developing, they weren't learning anything. But it's honestly terrifying. At least I find it terrifying to think how easily I could just fall down a rabbit hole of, spending months playing like Sims or something. And again, like I don't hate distractions. I like video games. I like having social media. But it just kind of scares me sometimes about how likely it is for me, how easily I could just lose motivation to like trying to accomplish goals and stuff by spending time learning about like random shit on the internet, because it really doesn't matter. It really, there's no reason for me to binge watch a TV series. But I could, because I have access to that. Because it's like depressing to think about. I don't like thinking about it, but if you were to spend, those last several days that you've spent just like watching random videos, or, playing games, or like posting on social media, because it's depressing to think about. I don't like thinking about it. Like I try to avoid thinking about it as much as possible. But it's true that like if you were to take all those hours that you spent, watching some TV show or just doing random shit on your phone, if you took all those hours and instead you had spent them like doing something where you're like taking some classes or learning a skill, learning a trade, you could have like you could have been a lot richer. You could have be somewhere completely different right now. And it's sad to think about. Like I don't say that to like try to make myself feel bad. I guess I am saying that to make myself feel bad, but I think it's so easy to just not acknowledge how much time we spend doing things that really aren't benefiting us at all. And I think like not to keep referencing like, people didn't always live like this, back in blah 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 your grandpa's generation. But I think it would be weird to try to describe to people now like, oh yeah, I happily spend hours just sitting staring at my screen when you're probably like learning or working, making money, doing creating something, working on a project, working on a goal. But no, instead I was saying, oh well, I had a shitty day today, so I deserve to lay in bed and watch TikTok. I deserve to watch my comfort show. Because as depressing as it is, it's true. You should be aware that you're not getting shit out of rewatching the same show for the hundredth time. Oh, you want to be an actor? You want to be a musician? You want to be a doctor? You want to be a fashion designer? You want any goal at all? You want some sort of career? You want some sort of travel? You want money to do something? You're not getting it by fucking sitting on your ass watching a screen. I'm not saying there can't be moderation, because if I had to choose right now, I wouldn't want to live without any social media, without any media. I'd be out of touch. I wouldn't want to be. I feel like in this generation, you'd be isolated if you didn't know a lot of recent stuff happening in the media that you wouldn't know if you didn't have internet. And I don't want to feel isolated. That kind of feeds into the whole getting distracted from what's actually meaningful. Is it worth it to know all the micro trends and be chronically online and get these references? Or meanwhile there's people who are working several more hours a day than you, who they're grinding away, chugging energy drinks to stay up all night while you're drinking energy drinks so you can finish your movie. This person, they're drinking energy drinks so they can finish producing their song, so they can submit their work at college, finish writing their paper. What are you getting out of all this wasted time? And again, like, it's so objective or subjective, up into interpretation what's meaningful, and I can't tell anyone shit about what's meaningful to them. But I just think it's crazy how normalized it is to do things that are fucking wasting your time. Because even, back, because yeah, through every generation there's always been, things to waste your time. But I think the scariest part is like just how easy it is to be content with distracting yourself. Because I would be content right now I generally would probably be happy right now to like go down in a basement for 12 hours without any sunlight, just like some food or something, and like play like a whole video game campaign front to start, or even like for a whole week. Obviously there are some things I'd be like, I want to take a shower, but I would be happy to do that. And that's fucking scary, that like I could be content living my whole life, like living my life vicariously through social media. You're watching all these videos and saving them, like about people partying or going to these concerts. You're like making a Pinterest board about all these places you want to travel to, all these restaurants you want to try, but you're not actually doing anything to get any closer to doing that. Your Pinterest board isn't helping you live out that Pinterest board. If anything, it's doing the opposite. And instead of sitting on your bed making a mood board of how you want to live your 20s and your 30s, or how you want to retire early so you can travel the world, you actually could right now be working on something, be working on a project, be learning, be teaching yourself something that could help you get those goals. But instead you're spending that time just dreaming, which I'm a daydreamer. I dream all the time. I spend so much time just like spaced out thinking about, I want to do this. I want to do this in this amount of years. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to say I did this. I want to see this. I want to taste this. I want to hear this. But I'm not getting anything. I mean, obviously it's good to spend, some time and figure out your priorities. It's good to know what you do want, but spending all this time procrastinating, because that's really what it is. Okay, you're not getting any closer to your dreams by like clicking on someone's profile who's living out your dream life and just like looking through all their Instagram posts. You're not getting any closer to being like that person by searching through their following and watching their what I eat in a day video or their vlog. Like, when I feel like, even not to like say it in a mean way, but I feel like my whole life I've just lived in like I don't live in like a big city. I live in kind of a more, what's the word, like suburban area. So of course, I think everyone in their life has like, met people who are completely happy, who are super content with their lives, but they don't live necessarily like grand lives, or at least like not from what you see. Okay, I know plenty of people who work 9 to 5 jobs, or they've retired, and now they spend 90% of their day at home watching movies, talking about their grandkids, and they're happy, or they would say they're happy if you ask them. I'm not trying to like question on if they're lying and they're like secretly depressed. Maybe they are really happy, but I don't want to live. I don't want to become that, and I don't mean that in like a mean way, like shitting on their lives, because if that's what makes you happy, if you would be happy to just live in the same place your whole life with the same people in the same bubble, watching movies all day, getting your excitement through online, then I can't tell you that's not. I have no place to say don't live out that life. I just get terrified with the idea that I one day could fall into that, and I already spend so much time just dreaming and not actually doing shit because it's just so easy to procrastinate. It's never been easier, like in any time in history, I believe, to procrastinate and just dream about shit you want to do and not doing anything. Like making edits of your, like reposting edits of your favorite fictional characters that you wish you were doesn't make you any more like that character. Making like an Amazon wish list of all the clothes you want to be like your favorite role model, that's not making you any closer to being like that role model. That role model was probably, working their ass off. Maybe they got their whatever handed to them, but they actually put effort in. And I'm not doing that. I'm not getting any closer to being like these people I want to be like by reading their autobiographies or watching a movie with them in it. I'm not getting any closer by just consuming their fame, their success, their happiness. Because I never want to be someone who solely like lives through people vicariously. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to live every life. I'm not a Barbie. There's always going to be something that's not satisfied. You could get someone who lives such a full life, who's been like lived out several careers, lived in like several places. You could get someone who has lived a objectively like full, exciting life. They're obviously still gonna have regrets. They're still gonna think, there's another life where I, have like a bakery in Paris. There's another life where I married someone else. They're still gonna have other lives that they're not gonna be able to fulfill. But they've probably still done so much more than me or anyone else who really hasn't done much unique or much that they're proud of. And most of their entertainment or excitement comes through watching other people live it out. Like, I think my biggest regret would be if I was like on my deathbed and I was like, the most exciting stuff I can think of is stuff that I've seen in a movie, that I read in a book, that someone told me about happened to them, that happened to blah blah blah's friend because they actually, you know, put their put their time into bettering themselves, to working towards their goals. And it's just so depressing to think about. So obviously, I'm not trying to like think about it too much because I already spent a good amount of time making myself upset about wasting my time. But there's stuff I could be doing right now instead of ranting to my phone, recording myself in my bedroom, because I'm literally doing like the definition of the stuff I was just complaining about. I'm no better than the people I'm complaining about. I am a prime example of someone who wastes their time doing shit that's not getting them anywhere and then complaining about not getting anywhere, about being scared about not living out their dreams while they're not doing anything to work out their dreams. I'm exactly that. I spend so much time thinking, how am I going to do all this shit in my life I want to do? And then I'll spend hours doing like essentially nothing. Not nothing. Like, maybe it makes me happy to, scroll on my phone, make like an Amazon wish list of clothes I'd want to buy if I had money. But I'm not getting any closer to getting money to pay for those clothes by making a wish list. I'm not any closer to like being a musician by making another playlist of all my favorite songs, when I could be, learning them or doing literally anything else worthwhile. Like, it really feels like a reality check every time I find myself like whenever the most exciting part of my day is something regarding like consuming some sort of content, I always feel fucking shitty. Like, I don't like being happy about a fictional character. Not that I think, not that I also like ideally would want to live a life where I don't watch any movies, play any games, watch any shows, have any social media, because that's how you find inspiration. People get inspired by consuming things. If everyone created things and no one consumed them, then what would be the point of creating anything? And that goes beyond just art, but like say everyone spent all their time producing things and no one consumed them, then what's the point? There wouldn't be much meaning in being an artist and being a musician, an actor, being a writer, a teacher, if no one consumed whatever you were giving out. But I think if we leave all of the producing to just some people and then everyone else just lives as consumers, then it's hard to compare yourself to these people and feel accomplished. And there's always going to be someone better you can compare yourself to. I'm not saying that because, yeah, there's always going to be someone who's accomplished more, who seems better. That's like another thing about social media. It's so easy to be like, well, this person's done all this stuff. You don't see all the time they spent grinding away, but they weren't spending their time scrolling on social media doing whatever. They were spending their time actually trying to get through their goals. But they don't show that, obviously, so you're not really motivated to put in that work, to be like that person, to accomplish something similar for yourself. So you just kind of get your contentness through looking at their goals because you don't see all the hard shit they had to do and you just see like the nice stuff. But I think if people just spent like even just like a fourth of the time they spend not really doing anything, actually trying to do something working towards your goals, you probably get somewhere you want to be a lot faster than if you're spending all your time thinking about it. It's really noisy, so I'm going to stop recording, but that's just what I wanted to say.